So unofficially, Dr. Matarazzo,
Here?
Mr. Jason Kim,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Timothy Yang,
Here.
Ms. Rebecca Lee,
Here.
Mr. Yoon Min,
Yes, here.
and let the record show that Mr. Matisich is in my office with Ms. Jang. So whenever you're ready, we are good. Thank you, guys.
I'd like to make a motion that we open this session. Second.
Jason?
Yes.
Okay, we're opening the session. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, okay.
Aye.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to personnel.
Yes.
Matarazzo?
Yes, before you have, going to resolve the first 6 motions.
Excuse me, can we see them on the screen so we know what it is, please?
Absolutely.
And I'd like to add that there is a typo on resolution number 4, that should be 3%. So please let it reflect that number 4 is 3%. And that was a typo. So this would be resolution 1 through 6 with the,
Can everyone see my screen? Excuse me, Dr. Matarazzo.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, guys. So here is 1 through 6, as we can see. We have.
Can you make it bigger?
Kathy, you're asking for a lot tonight. Sorry.
Oh, that's better.
and on that resolution, I'd like to say that we hate to see anyone resign, and we wish everyone luck and maternity leave, good luck, and very much congratulations to number 6, future Dr. Nunez, and I'm excited about the whole start of the school year, and he has a great challenge ahead of him, and all of the candidates were phenomenal. I'll say that.
Alright,
So,
everybody
1
second?
through 6.
I will second that.
We have 1 through 6. We have Tom Matarazzo,
Yes,
Jeffrey Wu.
Yeah. Okay, roll call please.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes?
Thomas Matarazzo,
Yes.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
John Madison,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Nunez, I know you were on the call. I publicly congratulate you on behalf of the Board of Education and wish you the very best of luck entering our school district.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cirillo, and thank you to the board for your vote of confidence. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We are, Dr. Matarazzo, I know you are going to speak about number 7, so I'm going to scroll down to number 7.
Number 7 is the positions for the fall sports. Not against the stipends, not against anyone being paid. Maybe because I have a personal reason, as many of us do, where I lost close friends and very close relatives to the COVID. And I know we're going to ensure the best safety measures possible. I know other towns have already started. I'm worried about our town, our Palisades Park. And I just don't know. The governor's changing it. I don't know if we're going to have an outbreak. I know we have an organization in town had a very big outbreak last week. It just spread so fast. And that's what I'm afraid of. And that's why I'm so afraid to recommend the starting of all sports. I'm sorry. But I will propose this resolution and resolve that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, approve the following positions for the district fall sports.
Okay, thank you.
Again, I'm not against any of the people, none of the faculty, none at all.
So you made a motion. I second that motion.
Motion.
Okay, roll call please.
Discussion, Madam President. Any additional discussion?
Discussion?
I'm sorry, you're supposed to adopt these resolutions, correct?
Yes.
Just number 7, Mr. Wu.
Oh, yes, thank you.
No discussion.
No discussion. Roll call please.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo.
With regret, I'm going to say no.
Okay. Jason Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
So,
Okay, thank you. We're gonna go to curriculum for Yang.
There's no report at this time.
Okay, and then negotiations, Mr. Jeffrey Wu.
Also, no report at this time.
Okay, student activities, field trips,
one
Miss.
second. Mr. Yang, excuse me, I'm sorry. I think there are,
No, that's policy.
I'm sorry, correct.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Sorry.
Antonio. Thank
Sorry,
you, I
Tim.
apologize, folks.
All right, and then, Miss Rebecca Lee.
There's no report at this time.
All right, and then policy, Mr. Timothy Yang.
Yes, I have for you one item that I'd like to move on the agenda. It is, will affect full policies, that will be making modification. The policies 1250, which is for visitors, 3541, which is for transportation safety, 5141 for illness, for contact tracing and health, and the last one is 5141, which is health examination and education. I'd like to move for consent agenda.
I second that.
Second it.
Dr. Matarazzo, Ms.
All
Montanaro.
right, yes, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes?
Thomas Matarazzo,
Yes.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Can you extend to these read twice, or because they're just modifications?
Mr.
It
Choi,
is.
I'm not sure if you heard Ms. Montemuro's question, but since these are modifications as per the New Jersey school boards and pertaining to the restart of our schools, do each of these policies require a second reading?
No, they do not, because there are amendments to the existing policy that is in fact in place, and I believe these amendments from my read was only a paragraph or two addressing specific COVID-19 related issues.
That is correct. They're all related to the virus and the restart. Thank you, sir.
All right, next, food service, Ms. Yoon Min.
But there is no report at this time.
Okay, thank you. And calendar, Ms. Yoon Min.
Yeah, no report at this time too.
All right. Okay, and then there will be no closed session, right? And any old business?
I don't know if it's old business about the new schedule that just came out, that was explained before, which I love. I like that idea of AA, day off, BB. My question, is that new business or old business? I don't,
New business, we're gonna discuss it in a minute.
new business, okay, I'll wait.
All right, okay. And then new business.
Okay,
Dr. Matarazzo, before we move on the second item, I would ask the board, please, for a motion on my submission on behalf of the district of our student safety data system. I can tell you that annually we are required to submit this information. It is the amount of incidents referring to any, HIB allegations, our trainings, our programs. The great news, I guess, one good thing that has come of the virus is our numbers are at an all-time low. Clearly missing 4 months of school or 3.5 months, student concerns and or HIB violations have decreased tremendously, which is unfortunately good news as a result of the virus. But I am asking for a resolution for the submission on behalf of the district.
I move on that?
Seconded.
Ron,
Yes.
any discussion?
Congratulations on the decrease.
Okay. And then roll call, please.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes?
Thomas Matarazzo,
Yes,
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
John Madison,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Thank you.
And before, I guess I asked for the resolution, Dr. Matarazzo, I think you wanted to make a point about the restart?
Just, I might be mistaken, but on the schedule, do we have it that the teachers then have lunch from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, they come back to the building to finish up?
That is correct. Clearly,
Is there a possibility that we may be able to reverse that? Again, I don't know if the PPEA have opinions on that, where the teachers work till 2 and then go home to that point.
that is up to, conversation. I don't know if we should do that at this point. We can further discuss that with the Restart Committee. This is not necessarily just my recommendation. As per the guidelines, we had to form a committee. I'm sure
Right.
they would not have a problem with potentially going home an hour earlier.
And then have their lunch like, the kids do. They take and go home and have lunch. That's all. But otherwise, I love it. I think it's great.
Any other question before I ask for a resolution from the board?
And Wednesday, it's totally off for students and teachers?
As per the schedule, that's what it looks like at this point. It allows the teachers to, if there is any childcare concerns, they would remain home, at least for that one day. And it might lessen the burden of worrying about a sitter on those days.
Good. Dr. Cirillo, it's not a day off, it's a day of virtual learning.
Virtual learning.
100%. It is a day not in the building, Mr. Yang.
Yeah, but parents do.
They must, and it's a synchronous learning day. So for the record, if high school English met at 8:30 a.m., all students, as we are working so hard right now to address the digital divide, will be required to sign in at 8:30 a.m. Otherwise, they will be marked absent for the day. If the teachers are not physically present for that class, they will be marked absent for the day.
Good.
Anything further on that matter? Again, please note, and I mean this sincerely, there was legislation earlier today that is seeking an amendment to this whole restart. Guys, I don't know. It can change literally the moment after we vote on this tonight. Clearly, as I mentioned earlier, health and safety is driving every decision we made in that restart committee. And again, I want to publicly applaud everyone for taking part in it. So with that being said, I ask for a motion and a second for our submission to the County of Bergen, to the Department of Education, and to the community of Palisades Park on an alternating A-B schedule with a Wednesday virtual day.
I move.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
And that's blue, orange. Okay, good.
Yeah, okay. The roll call,
You
please.
forgot pink.
Stephanie Jane.
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Yes.
Jason Kemp. Jason?
Yes.
Rebecca Lick.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Yoon Min.
Yes.
Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And now is the time for audience participation.
Oh, all right.
If any member of the audience would like to be heard, please state your name for the record, and please be mindful of the 3-minute limit as per our policy 9322. Thank you.
Kathy Doheny, co-president of the PPEA. First one that I think those town halls are a great.
Kathy, you muted yourself. Kathy, can you repeat that, please? We still can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Now I can hear you, Kat.
Okay, I think those town halls are a great idea, but can you share with us how many responses we have gotten so far from parents for the parent survey?
Sure. So district-wide, as I mentioned, we did send this survey in 3 languages, in Korean, in Spanish, and in English, of course. And we received in excess of 350 responses.
And can you give us like a general, or half of them looking to come to school, a hybrid version, or some, or many choosing just virtual?
Yeah, so for the record, the minority was in coming to school every day. The majority was in either remain remote as we were from March 13th through the end of the year, and or an alternating schedule with a reduced class size. So when I combine those two statistical numbers, that clearly outweighed much of what we thought was going to be the case. Clearly, health and safety of our community and the parents in this community is at the forefront.
Yeah, and the last thing, can I have a copy of those amendment policies so that we could read them as well?
Of course, I can email that to you, or Ms. Montemuro will do so. Yep.
Oh, and last but not least, welcome aboard to Mr. Nunez.
Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you.
Dr. Cirillo, I have just one question. When
This is audience
yes,
participation.
well, I'm asking you the question.
Yes, sir.
When everything was discussed with the parents and the teachers on this format, was there any time considered morning and afternoon sessions?
Yeah, so before we sent the survey, and that was one of our questions, to consider AM and PM sessions. Because of the sanitary conditions of our schools and having so many children in those classrooms, we fully believe that the health and safety would have been compromised, and that of our staff as well. So we believe that this is taking health and safety as our number one priority, the best plan going forward.
In other words, like if you had classes from 8:30 to 1, and then from 12:30, and then from 1 to 5 in the afternoon.
Good luck.
With in between sanitizing.
I'm sure I'm going to need another $25 million budget to hire additional staff beyond their contractual hours.
No, I don't know if you would
No.
need that, but if they didn't have classes in the morning, they would have classes in the afternoon. It all depended. I mean, I've experienced that part in a different school district. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, we looked at everything, Mr. Matisich, and honestly, without being sarcastic or joking,
No, I know.
The real minimizing of students in the building at any given time on any given day ultimately outweighed all the other factors.
What is the population in the school?
So right now we're approximately 1,800. So
Just the high school.
just the high school, we're at about 790, somewhere in that neighborhood.
All right.
Again, the numbers fluctuate clearly. What we leave in June and what we bring back in September.
Yeah,
It's a very transient community.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to mention, and I'm not sure if there are any families out there, but I do know that we will continue our partnership with Jewish Family Services. I know there's a representative from their agency on this call tonight. I spoke to that individual earlier. For families that do need aftercare on the days that their children are in our buildings, we will accommodate from the time of dismissal, even though it will be a half-day schedule. We will accommodate from the time of dismissal through 6 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday for the children that are physically in our building, and on Thursday and Friday for the children that are in our building. Ultimately, we really believe that being cognizant of our community needs, and I applaud JFS, they're going to work with us. We're going to be able to offer that to many families that do have to work longer hours, potentially on days that their children will be in our schools. The fees will potentially remain the same. They may decrease because it's less days in the building. So we don't have a recommendation yet on that, but we will have one in August from them.
Yeah, hi, I have a question.
Your name for the public, please?
I am Lee Musser. I'm a teacher at the high school. I just wanted to know if students at all the schools will have to wear masks all the time.
So that is a great question. And as per the guidelines from the CDC, and again, much of our emphasis is on that. If they are less than 6 feet apart, there is no choice but yes to mandate the wearing of masks. Unfortunately, there are also studies, Mr. Musler, as you know, the American Association of Pediatrics, for one, is saying that the wearing of masks for children may not be the best way to move forward. I can go on record and say, and I expressed this with our administrative team and the Restart Committee, when and if we have, for safety reasons, a lockdown drill, and children potentially are in closer quarters than what the 6 feet requires, the answer to your question is yes, they are required to wear a mask. But if we can socially distance our children, and we can ensure that right now it is safe to be 6 feet apart, until I have something further providing me evidence that must have all children in masks, I don't have a recommendation for the board.
What about the halls in the high school? If people, because they're moving, we're not moving at the elementary school.
So I know who you are, but again, if you can just say it publicly, Kathy.
No, I'm not on.
I know, not on. That's a great question. Ms. Cohen.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, if in the halls at the high school, if people are passing one another, they would have to have a mask on.
So same premise will apply. When children are less than 6 feet apart, they must wear a mask.
Dr. Cirillo, it's Nicole Toro from Palisades Park High School. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
I just have a question in terms of cleaning of the building on a daily basis. What's going to change in terms of disinfecting? Are we hiring outside services? That kind of information, if you have any at this point.
Sure, so there's definitely going to be an email that is shared with all of our faculty and staff tomorrow. I was waiting for a board approval tonight with the information that was just shared, but thank you for your question. As far as a cleaning, for the district to hire a service on a nightly or weekly basis, financially would bankrupt us probably. We do know that many of the misting, disinfecting that our custodial staff has been providing on a daily basis has proven to be effective. We are clearly going to encourage, as I mentioned very early, if any faculty or staff member is showing symptoms of any illness, they should remain home. The washing of hands, the sanitizing of hands. We have purchased much that we've never had to in years past to provide for health and safety. I can tell you that as needed and when required,